Welcome to The Real Tea. I'm your host, Tammy Murphy, broker owner of RH2L, bringing Miami Valley real homes to love.
And I'm Ellie Sollenberger to give my perspective as a home buyer.
We're going to give you the key to Miami Valley real estate.
And we are back with Sharlene Sizer, who has been a house cleaner / organizer / declutterer for over 30 years. So, hi, thank you for coming.
Hi.
And this is also my aunt, by the way.
So a little family interlude going on here. It's all good.
All good.
Welcome to the show. Don't be nervous. It's okay. We get to edit if we need to. So
You'll be editing.
And we were talking on the last podcast that I feel like everybody we've brought on has never done a podcast before. So you're in a group of everybody who's never done a podcast.
Well, it's usually my age group. We're like, podcast? No.
You
But
listen
it's-
to a lot of them.
yeah.
Yeah, I listen. I just have never been on one. So
Yeah.
So now you get to be the expert about all things in a house. What makes it better to sell? What makes it nicer to live in? I mean, if this has been your business for over 30 years, that's pretty phenomenal. You know what you're doing.
yeah, I've done it all from single bachelors to giant families to elderly people to, pretty much across the board.
Great.
So on previous episodes, we talked about kind of my journey of buying and selling homes, and you were mentioned a lot where you came in and you helped me declutter and you helped me stage stuff. And like when my husband decided to paint everything an hour before you showed up
Yeah.
to the house.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of hard to clean when there's wet paint everywhere.
right.
Right.
So when you are helping somebody, and I know recently you had a client that moved out of state, so kind of how do you tackle that entire process of getting ready to sell your house?
The first thing you want to do is declutter. Go through each and every room, every closet, every drawer, everything. Get rid of what you don't need to live day by day. And as you're doing it, purge. Get rid of stuff. I know it's hard to do, but nobody needs like 3 can openers and 12 pieces of luggage and whatever.
Right.
You can donate it. A lot of women's shelters. Believe it or not, nursing homes take a lot of stuff like puzzles and games and
Oh, that's a
kids
great
stuff
idea.
that like coloring things and things you wouldn't even think of, like movies, and just call around or Google. Google's a great thing. Where can I take my stuff just to get rid of it if you don't want to sell it?
Yeah.
But number one, you want to purge.
Okay, well, that's great advice. I mean, we see a lot of storage locations around here, storage centers. I know Ellie used a pod on some of her move as well, which helps you get it out of the house and clear it up, right?
Yeah. You want people that come to your home, if you're selling, to picture themselves there. And if they walk in and it's personal pictures and memorabilia and collections of stuff everywhere, they're not going to do that. They're not going to envision themselves there. And plus it makes the space look bigger. The
Right.
less stuff you have,
Right. I
less
felt like-
furniture.
Yeah, clutter, you can't really see what would stay with the home. You just go in and you get distracted by all of the stuff.
Right. You want them to walk in and say, oh, my furniture would fit perfectly in here. Not, ooh, would my furniture? Because everybody knows if you have a giant dining set, your dining room looks smaller.
Right.
So,
And people want to do the measurements and everything or judge it. If you've got a queen size, is there extra room where my king size will fit?
Correct.
So if you just take out all the extra stuff, it makes it easier for them to
Yep.
measure if they need to, but also to visualize it.
yep, especially kids' rooms. Kids have a lot of stuff, toys and their personal stuff. And you want to get rid of as much of that as possible. And it's hard. Like your kids lived without their toys, their stuff for a long time. Not a long time, but for a little while you're showing the house, while you have people in and out, because they don't need all that stuff.
Right. Didn't you say just pack for like what you're going to need for a couple of weeks, or was that,
Yeah, that's literally what I did.
Yeah, literally just pare it down to bare minimum, and believe it or not, your house will sell faster.
That's right. it
Because
does.
if you have all that stuff, they're not going to be able to vision it, and then you won't sell your house, and then you're needing to live without it more, and so it works out.
Yeah. So when you have somebody, like she said, that's out of area, that's coming here, they're needing to sell the house, or maybe they've moved out of the area and selling the house here, you take on a lot of that of just making sure that it's prepped and ready for that showing, for the listing pictures, for the showing. But then there's do they contact you if it's a continuation, like we're a month in and you?
These were longtime clients.
Okay.
I've worked for them for about 14 years.
Oh.
And they both kind of retired, sold their businesses, and they have a home in Florida. They're kind of snowbirds, but they wanted to close their house here and move to Atlanta where her family is. So I packed up all their personal stuff.
Gotcha.
Their clothing, bathroom stuff, personal. And then they had movers come in and pack up the big, like, decorative stuff that needed extra packing. Put it all in storage. And they have the climate-controlled storage.
Yeah.
And that's where it's all at now. And then they contacted me a few weeks ago, and they said in the fall, they bought a new place in Atlanta, and they're going to have me come down with their moving trucks.
Wow.
And help them unpack it all and set up their new home. But so that was a different situation.
Well,
Because
that's
we packed it up to store, and then they just went to their place they've always had.
But that's a real testimony. Somebody that wants you to come down and make sure that everything gets situated.
They're really great people. I've been lucky. I mean, but that's also one of the reasons I love my job, because I work for who I want to work for.
Right.
You know, if we don't click, because I'm pretty harsh with my cleaning, even with her. You know,
Not with family, no.
No, with everybody. Like, this is my style. When I leave your home, I want it to be ready to have a party. You know what I mean? I want you to come home from work with your boss and be like, this is where I live.
Right.
I want your clutter put away. I want everything down to your toilet paper folded, ready.
Nice.
And that's how I work. That's how I've always worked. And if that doesn't work for you, like if people are clutter bugs, it's not going to work. 'Cause
Right.
they're constantly, what'd you do with this? Where's that? Where's my stuff? And it's like, well, if you put it away, then you wouldn't be calling me.
She said it seems to be like the husbands or the males and that are like, where's this? Oh, she must have moved it.
Yeah, and I get
That they
blamed
didn't know
for
from the beginning.
everything. I get blamed from homework to pet collars to, and so my clients and I kind of set up a spot when I start working for them. I'm like, okay, this cabinet or this corner of your kitchen or this dresser or whatever, that's where I'm putting everything. So if you can't find it when you get home, look there.
That's a good idea.
And if it's not there, then call me or text me. But that way we kind of get in a groove. And then and my clients always laugh. They're like, okay, the first thing I do is, where would Sharlene put it? And usually what they think is, where does it go? Because that's what I tell them. Well, where does it go? It's a coat. This happened at your house.
Yeah.
Her husband's like, where's my jacket? I'm like, the coat closet? Isn't that where it goes? And he's
but
like,
that's not where you found it, right?
yeah. And he's like, well, why'd you? And I said, because you had 46 coats hanging on these hooks and they need put away. It's summertime. So just little stuff like that.
So when you're decluttering to pack, what are some tips and ways that you do
Decluttering
it?
to pack. Start with stuff you don't use. Seasonal stuff. Holiday decor. Collectors things. A lot of people have little collections of stuff. Personal photos. Your decor, basically. Just pare it all down. And then furniture. You don't need a table next to every end of your couch or things like that. Coats. You can always box up those coats, or half of them even, because believe it or not, most people have more than they need.
No.
Put those coats in storage, and if you can't do storage like a storage container, or a place, or what was that thing called? You had a pod.
A pod.
Designate a spot in your house, even if it's part of your garage, and people understand. Oh, they're going to move, so
Right.
their 2-car garage is now 1-car garage because this is all storage.
Right, and we see that a lot of times where the boxes all get pushed into the garage, and so they really can't get a feel for the garage. But a garage is a 1-car or 2-car with an extra bump out area, something.
Right.
They don't really need to see the detail of the garage
As
at
long
that
as
point.
it's organized and looks neat.
Right.
Not just piled in there to where they can't see the ceiling. But that's the other part of it. When you're purging, when you're organizing, make it very streamlined. And there's so many videos now
Yeah.
of how to organize stuff, how to streamline stuff. So
Okay, so after packing, then you go in and you are cleaning and kind of staging a home. What are some of the things that people don't think about that you do?
top to bottom clean, obviously. Like light fixtures, anything hanging on your wall. People have like sconces or pictures frames, or just Everything, ceiling to floor, needs to be vacuumed, wiped down, sanitized. Couches, take the cushions off. Because believe it or not, things, it has a smell to it. Have you ever noticed that? You go in somebody's house and everybody's house is different. Whether it's pets or, kids get food down in your couch or whatever. Get rid of it. Open up your windows. Get some fresh oxygen in your house, even if it's hot. Get some fresh oxygen. Get it aired out. Change your furnace filters. That is something, believe it or not, so many people, they're like, I change my furnace filter every 3-4 months. And I'm like, no. Once a month. I don't care if you have pets or not.
Oh, wow.
You want to do that. It's going to make your furnace last longer, make your house smell better. Drawers. Pull open your drawers. Does everybody has a junk drawer, but it can still be neat and tidy. You don't need 55 pens.
So I actually saw something online that junk drawers is like a Midwest thing. Like people don't have junk drawers if they live in like California.
Oh, really?
Well, I've never cleaned a house in California, so I don't know about that. But
well, our viewers will have to tell us, if you're in California, do you have a junk drawer?
if you don't live in a flyover state, do you have a junk drawer? But most people do. It's the place where you put your pens and your tape and your scissors and your whatevers.
Condiment packets and all of that.
Extra charger cords. And that's another thing, condiment packets. Good Lord. Get rid of them. Nobody needs 15 Chick-fil-A things,
I know.
And also clean out your fridge. Every single space in your home needs cleaned out if you're going to put your house up for sale. Every single space, believe it or not. And just go room by room.
So I remember
or hire somebody.
When you were going through my kitchen and you kind of moved stuff around, and you were like, people are going to look in your cabinets, and I didn't even think of that as a seller.
Yep.
Well, that's true. They also check the pantry. They want to see if the room, and so when it's neat and organized, I will hear more people comment on, oh, well, that's nice. And even if it's a small space, if it's neat and organized, it's not a negative. It's automatically on the positive list versus somebody opens it up and it's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have opened that, and they have to hurry and slam it shut.
Yeah, well, as a realtor, if you're putting your house up for sale, you are letting these people open every single space in your home. Every space. Your storage area, your bathroom drawers, your cabinets, your closets. Look under your bed. I mean, believe it or not, it's really, you're opening them up. So you want every single space. And I would go room to room.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've heard too is smells. Like the very first impression is somebody's home and how it smells. What are some things that you do to either negate a negative smell or to put do you put a positive smell in there? I guess
that's because even
or a smelling.
My son just came home from out of state. He hasn't been to our house for a few months, and he walked in and he's like, "Man, Mom, the house smells clean. It smells different." And I'm like, "Is that a good thing or bad thing?" I said, "I've been cleaning," and he's like, "It does. It smells like lemony."
Yeah.
And just because I had been doing some deep cleaning, but like I said, vacuum all fabric surfaces. Even your bed. I mean, take off that mattress cover, put baking soda on it, vacuum it. It'll get rid of those dust mites. It'll get rid of the smells that you don't notice other people do. Move furniture, vacuum underneath it. Wash everything you can wash. Get rid of your personal stuff, like all your coats or anything that can hold a smell. Clean your refrigerator out. Let's open your windows. A lot of people don't think about that, but open your windows, get some fresh air in your house.
Some houses have that just stale smell because it's
just recirculated.
Yeah, I lived somewhere where you couldn't even open windows. Like it was a high-rise building, and so I had so many like sinus infections when I lived there, just because it was all like a controlled environment.
I'd never thought of that, but
yeah.
Open your windows. When I'm cleaning somebody's house, I usually crack it open. Another thing is, don't assume everybody likes your smell of candle. You know what I mean? I clean for a lot of people who are very sensitive to scents. That don't like those strong candles or sprays or the little plug-ins in your walls.
Or you'll hear them, well, that's awfully sweet, because they put in the pineapple Hawaiian floral fragrance or something.
Some people hate pine.
Yeah, the very, very strong odors, go back to the old adage of if it smells like fresh baked bread or chocolate chip cookies. Those are cinnamon, pumpkin
vanilla.
pie. Those are good ones that are kind of neutral. Everybody seems to have a favorable
Right.
of
My
feel.
daughter hates floral scents. And I hadn't really thought about it until I'd started cleaning. Some people are like, nope, I like food smells. I don't like floral scents. Another lady hates pine. Another lady loves pine. I mean, everybody's different. So you want to go something neutral. And
I know more times than not, people will notice a clean smell. Like you said, your son came home and wow, it is a difference when you walk in. If it's fresh cleaned, it doesn't have to smell like bleach to be that, or
some people
lemon.
hate the smell of bleach.
But it's just that there is that freshness in the air that is just noticeable, and people really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's one of the most common comments I get from clients that text me. And I got one last night. I cleaned a lady's house yesterday, and she texted me, God, I love coming home when you clean. My house smells so good when I walk in. If you can make somebody who lives in that home recognize the scent when they come home, you know you've made a difference, because everybody knows what their house smells like.
They get used to it, which is why sometimes you may not notice that there's an odor in the house because you're used to it. Yeah.
Nose blind, cobweb blind, dust blind, you know. That's one thing I do hate about my profession. So I walk in people's houses and I'm like, ooh. Or
that first time walkthrough. So here's my pet peeve.
And it's not judgy. It's just, it's an automatic thing with me.
My pet peeve, if you were going to come to my house and clean, I am going to clean it very well before you come in. And then it's like, well, why do you have her coming in to take a look? Well, because that's just the way I am.
And I don't judge people because everybody's different. But I am going to clean your house within an inch of its life. And, you know, you're going to be like, wow, I didn't think about cleaning that.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the way I work.
Yeah.
So what are your opinion on like a move out or a move in clean once you have bought a house?
I think everybody should do a move out clean just as a courtesy. Because you don't want somebody buying your house and coming in and, you know, your baseboards are gross, the bathrooms are gross. Always leave a roll of toilet paper in each bathroom, you know, just as a courtesy. As far as moving in, not as much. I mean, I would do a wipe down, just like a lot of people go to hotel rooms.
Right.
And they're like, I wipe down the bathroom and the light switches just to make sure. But when you sell a house and you move out, especially in the prices that we're in these days with homes, they deserve to have the cabinets wiped out and things like that.
And I think I just had a seller, you know, who had lost the husband and sold the house and everything. So there's a lot of dynamics. Sometimes as the seller coming out of the house, cleaning is the last thing they want to think of. I think it would be a great service, and hey, maybe we can talk about this, is to do that move out clean where you get to leave a little note on the counter that says professionally cleaned by, and then in case they ever have questions or want to know anything, they could contact you, or maybe they want to get into your services or something. But I think, you know, if you feel like the house has been professionally cleaned,
makes you feel a little
you're going to feel like, well, I don't maybe have to do so much. You might still do some personal things,
right,
toilet seat or whatever. But I mean, at least there is this, I'm going to have to take the next 2 weeks that I'm going to be cleaning.
Yeah. Because
I know what I'm inheriting from somebody, right?
Right, absolutely. And over the years, I have done that. I have worked with realtors. I've worked with construction. One thing I hate doing is new construction because construction guys are just sloppy.
Right.
You know, they wash paint out in sinks and stuff like that. But, you know, over the last 33 years, I've done it all. I've worked with realtors. I've worked with contractors. I've worked with apartment complexes, that kind of thing. So. Yeah.
Great.
That's what I tell everybody. I've done it all. I've done from like one-time cleaning to like worked with people. I have 2 clients that I've worked for over 30 years.
So are you taking on new clients?
No, not currently. I actually have
Sorry.
I actually have a waiting list. I have like 9 people on my waiting list. My mom got sick last year. I had cut back a lot to take care of her. And just, you know, I've been doing it so long, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to that full 2-3 houses a day schedule.
Do you have anybody working with you?
No.
It's just you?
Just me. I have over the years. I've helped a couple friends start their own businesses. But overall, I like doing it just me because I like how I clean. I don't want to trust somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? I just feel like I redo what they've already done. And I have clients who say, no, I like you to come to my house. I don't like it when you have somebody else.
Right.
So being a house cleaner, what are some like tips for people that they don't think about that you do when you clean their house on a regularly basis, not having anything to do with selling or buying a house?
You mean what would I like people who have a house cleaner to know, or tips for cleaning your house?
Tips for cleaning your house.
I don't know, because one of the main things I get from people, clients say that what they love about my services is their whole house gets cleaned at once. Whereas then when it's your own home, and even I am guilty of this, one day you'll clean the kitchen. One day you'll do the bathrooms. One day you'll vacuum everything. One day you'll change your bed. This way you get the whole house done. So my biggest tip is, if you're going to do it yourself, if you can't or don't want to afford someone else to do it, find a spot and do it all at once. You'll feel better. Your house will look better overall, but that, that's probably it.
How long does
find the time spot.
How long does it take for you generally to clean just a typical average size house? How much time do you actually spend
2
there
to 3 hours.
Okay. So if the average person took a day or
I
a
work
few
fast,
hours,
though.
right.
I
So if
do
they
work
took a
fast.
whole day, they should still be able to get it done. I guess
Yeah.
So this idea of only doing one room and then another room, I mean, I don't know that I see the rationale behind it. If you're doing the job and you can do it professionally in a couple of hours, then maybe
I'm a luxury. I am considered a luxury, just like having a lawn guy or a pool guy or whatever. I am a luxury. So when times get tough,
yeah.
I'm one of the first things that gets put on hold. Fortunately, I haven't had that happen since about 2008,
good.
when the market really crashed. That hurt bad. But I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But find somebody you can trust.
For sure.
Put your feelers out there. Talk to your friends. Talk to your coworkers. Find somebody who has somebody. Don't go to these companies because they send in 2, 3, 4 people, and they're all over your house. You can't watch them all the time. People do steal. They break things and whatever, and it's really hard to get compensated for it.
So I had an apartment complex that I managed for a while for an investor, and we would have cleaning when a tenant would move out, right? And so we have to get a company. And I can tell you, after COVID happened, it was a wait list with any of the cleaning companies, and you were lucky if you could get anybody who was even willing to come out and do it. And I'm talking about, these were studio apartments, so they were 500 square feet.
Oh gosh.
And it was like, are you kidding me?
Easy peasy.
There's
Everybody was getting unemployment. They didn't want they were
something.
getting those COVID checks. They didn't want to work.
Something was definitely going on, but it was hard times to find somebody. And to your point, if I had somebody, it was never the same person who would come out, so you couldn't get into a routine. You didn't know,
Right.
and it was like, okay, I'll just have to do this myself. Not what I wanted to do, but that's the theory behind somebody else. If you're calling these companies, that you can't rely on or know who's actually in there doing it.
Especially if you have somebody coming to your home regularly, because most of my clients are biweekly. I have a few that are once a month. I have a few that are every week, but most are biweekly. And if every other week you don't know who's coming to your house and who they're bringing with them and when they're going to be there, and I have codes to people's garages. I have keys.
Yeah.
I have people who leave their doors open. Everything's different, but you want somebody you can trust.
For sure.
So when you have somebody that only has you come every other week or every month, is there a different type of clean that you do for those people?
Overall, I have a basic clean, which is sanitize your bathroom, sanitize your kitchen, all floors, change your bed, wash those linens while I'm there. I have some families that I also do laundry. I keep it going while I'm there, especially the larger homes that I do that have kids, 3, 4, 5 kids. I just keep it going while I'm there. It's just an extra courtesy. Some people have me wipe out their fridge. Some people don't. Some people say, hey, can you throw in this extra organizing while you're here? Maybe clean up my pantry. Everybody I work with is different. Every single person, we text, we talk, and we have a personal relationship. But there is the basic clean, which is top to bottom. Dust your fans, dust your things on your walls, vacuum all your surfaces, do all your floors, that kind of thing.
So what is a typical cost range?
Minimum is $90. but it can go up to $200-$300 depending on how big your house is. And if I'm changing 6 beds plus cleaning the house, but if I'm there for 3, 4, 5 hours, it goes up. So it's just different because it's personal. Some people are like, don't change my beds. And I'm like, really? Why wouldn't you want me to change your beds? That's like a perk. But some people are like, no, I change my bed every Monday. It's my routine. And I'm like, okay, fine with me. But I always make the bed up so it looks tidy and pretty and fluff the pillows and whatever. So
you've told me before that you could write a book. What?
I'm going to write a book. I have a ledger, literally. It's like this thick of stories.
So what is a story that is entertaining that you came across?
This isn't I have 2. One is a cleaning one. One is not a cleaning one, but they both have to do with pets. One longtime client was out of town. I was cleaning their house while they were out of town. When I showed up, they had left me a note to feed the gerbil, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay. So I go to the gerbil cage. It's dead.
Oh, no.
And they were on a long-time European trip, so they were going to be gone for like 2 weeks. So I'm like, oh. So I texted them, Coco, the gerbil died. What do you want me to do? She said, put him in a Ziploc in the freezer so we can bury him when I come home. My daughter wants to bury it. So that was a weird one. Yeah. The other one has to do with the pet. It was a single guy, bachelor, had his own plumbing business. And I show up to clean his house, and he's on his way out. And he's like, hey, my dog got sick. She's locked in my bathroom. And he's like, I got to go. I got an emergency job. He's like, but I'm really sorry. And I'm like, okay. So I go in the house, and I hear the dog in the bathroom, and I open the door, and the dog had violent diarrhea all over this massive bathroom.
Oh,
and was walking in it, and it was an all white bathroom, with the big garden tub and all that. And I just shut the door. And I texted him. I'm like, that's way above my pay grade. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a whole chapter of pets.
Pets, not necessarily in a good way, right?
Yeah, in a good way and a bad way, but yeah. So I've got all kinds of stories. I've been writing them down, and yeah, I walked in on a police raid on one house. I've walked in on people in the shower, on the toilet, in bed, naked in their bedroom, and I always knock, and they know I'm on my way. I'm like, hey, hi, housekeeping, hi. Never fails, though. At least once a month, I walk in with somebody, and they're like, oh, I forgot you were coming, and they're covering up or whatever. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
She gets to see all of the stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a housekeeper like me that you've had for as long as some of these people I've cleaned for, I've watched them have children, the kids grow up, and they have children, and we develop a relationship. And most of them are friends, not just clients.
Yeah, my kids call her the cleaning fairy. So they're like, the cleaning fairy came today.
Cleaning fairy.
And she'll arrange like their stuffies on their bed and
yeah, just do little, like I said, fold the toilet paper, fold the paper towels. And one thing that some people really like, some people hate, rearrange little tchotchkes. Like put a picture in a different place, put, this candle arrangement, or like the kids, I move their toys around, that kind of thing. Do a fold thing on a blanket, just for it's a little bit personal. And most people are like, oh, I never thought of putting, that there, and I like it. Because you kind of become blind to your own home.
Right.
she'll text me and be like, I put this table here. Do you like it?
And you know what? It's your house. If you don't like it, put it back. But it's not anything major,
Right.
so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
We always kind of end, and I know we talked about a lot of tips and tricks and stuff, but we end on like one final tip for our listeners.
Big tip. You'll like this one. Mail. Paper clutter can be your worst enemy in your home. And I mean, it is with everyone across the board. Everybody gets junk mail. Everybody has kids, gets piles of paperwork. Figure out your own way to organize it or purge it or have a place for it, because otherwise it'll take over your life.
Oh, yeah.
When you get your mail, bring it in, open it up. If it's junk, put it in the trash. If it's not, if it's a bill, put it there. When you get your Amazon packages, break it down, get rid of it. Don't leave it sit around, because it will just accumulate.
Yeah.
and grow. It's like dust. It just multiplies. So that's my big thing.
I'm going to have to figure out how I get on this list. I feel a house is coming up that I'm going to really need your care and
Depends
attention
on how you
to.
edit this and how bad I look.
You're going to look great, believe me. So much happiness
Yeah,
coming
thanks
your
for
way.
telling me this was video too, Ellie.
I got you here.
Yeah, you tricked me.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us today on the Realty Podcast. If you enjoyed the knowledge and entertainment today, please subscribe and share with your friends. We will be embarking on a journey that bridges the gap between realtors and clients, uncovering the heart and tea of real estate.